Hello everyone, R3 here, and today we're gonna be reviewing Night in the Woods. Without further delay, let's dive right in.
I got something on my mind, nowhere else to Lord, take me downtown to you.
The visuals in this game are absolutely stunning, opting for a very clean, lineless art direction with lighting and effects that are just vivid enough that they grab your attention and have impact, but don't break the overall feel. Character designs are very simplistic in the best of ways. They give off enough information about the character for you to immediately get a sense of who they are and what they're like, while offering room for interpretation. For example, on let's go with B. On B's dress, one could see an ankh. For my entire first playthrough, I always thought it was a necklace, but after seeing a poll on the Night in the Woods Amino... I'm not sponsored by Amino, by the by. Just felt like mentioning it because it's kind of integral to this segment, but I wouldn't mind being sponsored by Amino. You guys should totally get out if you're interested, but if not, I'm kind of small down, so yeah. It would seem I may be in the minority with that, as most answered they thought it was a design on the dress itself. Now that's a whopper! That's a lot funnier if you've played the game. Looking at the art style and taking in the fact that there is no voice acting, one match with the genre of the game, and one may wonder if the entirety of the feel of each line's delivery must be derived from the lines themselves. But the character's expressions will subtly change when delivering many lines, which helps to give a much better sense of how the character is feeling when they express themselves. Whether that be Mae's subtle grins, Angus's ear movements, Greg's... that, or even B's eye movements. The point is, the art itself helps to make up from what could be lost from a lack of voiced characters. This actually helps with projecting onto the characters further as well, as you can simply imagine how they sound in your head and roll with it. When I first went into this game, which I did mostly blind, I expected the entire game to just be another one of those chill, relaxing, kinda cutesy, slice-of-life story games that explored personal growth and such. While I did get a bit of that, I was pleasantly surprised by just how wrong I was. While I went in assuming it would be relatively shallow, one could say I hopped in a puddle and yeah, that. The story involves you, Mae Borowski, returning home from college for reasons you, the player, don't know. Mae does, but despite you seeing through her eyes for a vast majority of the game, there's a lot about her that you need to learn from your adventures as you get back into the swing of things in your hometown of Possum Springs. A lot has changed since you were last home. Friends, family, town, and all. Everything feels like it's changed, yet hasn't. From the get-go, it seems like this will be all that drives the entire game. A desire to help Mae develop and connect with her old friends from high school, namely Greg, Angus, and B. And sometimes Jerb. He's an odd one. From here, you spend a majority of your time doing exactly that, but around 1/4 to 1/3 of the way through the game, something happens that changes everything. The tone begins to shift from slice of life towards more of a mystery thriller, but one thing that doesn't change is the charming characters and dialogue. The characters in this world all feel incredibly believable and realistic, and I can't recall a single time where someone said something that made me go, "Wow, that felt really robotic and out of place. What bad writing."
Hey, Mr. Chazikov.
Hello, Mae, my best worst student.
Yeah, like the Constellations, hated school.
Hey, don't knock school. School is vital for your future. What are you doing back in Possum Springs?
I dropped out of school.
Oh.
You were like a year behind me, right?
2 years.
So you're fresh out, huh?
I hang out with Greg sometimes. We ride bikes. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay.
Oh shit!
What?
I saw a rabid possum the other day.
Really? Where?
It was crawling across the road.
Had it been hit by a car?
Just rabid.
What happened to it?
Got hit by a car.
Wow.
It was like a poem.
Okay.
Not once. For examples, one need only look to the main cast. Greg is a charmingly zany guy whose attitude and outlook goes hand in hand with Mae's own uniquely sarcastic and humorous take on most situations. And they found him out in the back of the junkyard.
That's upsetting.
You'd been there for a while.
This is depressing.
Really? I just thought it was like super. Hey, Mae. Got cups on my ears.
Wow.
Sounds like the ocean in here.
Is it even stealing?
It's better if we think of it as stealing.
Cool.
Uh,
Ah?
yeah.
Are you okay? Dude, what?
I can't pick. They all look great. Yeah, well, you get one. That was the deal. Well, Greg does that. Characters like Angus and B stand as foils for Mae. B more so than Angus. Angus is Greg's boyfriend.
I'm gay.
And compared to the rest of the group, probably the most relaxed and level-headed of them all.
I was actually looking for you. My laptop's all messed up and I thought
What's wrong with it?
lots of things pop up when I turn it on.
What kinds of things?
You know, things about things. Not for kids things.
Why didn't you bring it with you?
I forgot it.
You know, Mae, you don't, have to be embarrassed about
I'm not.
I mean, everyone's...
I know.
Let me see what I can do.
Did you guys hear something?
Like what?
Something in the woods over there.
Oh, yeah. 2 people are making out in the rock behind us.
That can't be very comfortable.
Who needs comfort when you can have makeouts?
But preferably you have both.
It ain't a perfect world, Angus.
They really are going at it up there.
They sure are.
You guys wanna, I don't know, stand somewhere else?
Nah, dude.
Why should we move?
They're the indecent ones.
We are gentlemen.
Then there's B. She's my favorite. When you first encounter her, she's already done with your shit. It's through the progression of the first chapter that you come to find out that not only do you have history with B, but when you were young, the 2 of you were actually quite close. It's that alone that made me want to focus a majority of my attention on her, trying to patch up what Mae and her had seemingly lost.
Hey, B.
Yo.
Sorry about last night. I get woozy on cold medicine, so I don't really know what I expected to happen.
Sorry for what I said.
You know, I don't really remember it much, so whatevs.
Hooray for alcohol.
New town motto. Oh. Band practice later?
Yep.
I'm amazed it's still a thing. We were barely even a band in high school.
It's fun. Get to hang out with Angus.
How did you even end up doing it?
When Casey left town, Angus told me that Greg was really sad, so I volunteered to be the new drummer.
Well, drummer. It's a laptop, B.
It sure is, Mae. It sure is.
Through this, I discovered just how deep the characters in the game truly are. They all have their own personal struggles and secrets that you can uncover through getting to know them, with B and Greg having more deep storylines than any of the other characters. Oh, there's something I can complain about! Why can't we have this level of connection with Angus? I found him really, really charming and intriguing, but beyond 1 or 2 days worth of encounters, we can't really bond with him. His development with you feels a lot more rushed than it does with B and Greg, but that may just be due to him being a more earnest and clean character. It could be due to the fact that Angus's problems are more rooted in the past, while people like Greg and Bea have problems that are much more centered in the now. Still, I wish I could have gotten to hang with Angus more. The characters are dynamic, the writing is charming and humorous, and the overarching plot and tone help to deliver the entire package nicely to you. The gameplay in Night in the Woods is as simple as it gets, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. While some would consider the game a whack-and simulator, based on the grounds that a vast majority of the game consists of you exploring Possum Springs and interacting with its many residents, those who come expecting exactly what you're about to be given will be pleased with the sheer amount of things there are to do and see. After completing my first playthrough and opting to review the game, I went into my second playthrough pleasantly surprised at the amount of content I'd inadvertently missed just because I wanted to see how the main story progressed faster. Every little nook and cranny has something of merit, and interacting with basically everything you see until you no longer can is highly encouraged. The movement in the game is relatively straightforward. I personally played with a mouse and keyboard, so the keys for movement were A and D for left and right, or the respective arrow keys along with either C or F to interact with things, V being used to continue things you see such as background conversations, and the spacebar to jump.
Hey baby, you ever heard of this little thing called wave dashing?
Deja vu, I just been in space before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go.
I got more fucking movement options than Melee in here, bitch. Let's get her out. Let me let's fucking go. Let me out. I'll show my final smash.
Summer ride is big!
This control scheme works well enough for the gameplay itself, but one can't help but long for the ability to use the mouse, if only for added comfort. It's odd, because on Mae's laptop you can use the mouse perfectly fine, but then again, it makes sense there more than anywhere else. The tutorial does a very good job of teaching you these controls without explicitly telling you them as well. For the most part, you learn by doing things, and this holds true through the entire game, but there's always a little veiled hint if you can't seem to figure things out. Minigames are frequent and help to increase the attachment and enjoyment with various parts of the game. These minigames range from Guitar Hero style game in which you play the bass, to a game in which you help Greg move an old animatronic upstairs.
Oh no. Yo! Holy shit, he dead!
These games only repeat a maximum of 3 times from what I've seen, with most being one-ups that you only get access to thanks to your choices earlier in the game. The game has an acceptable amount of replayability, with you not being able to have seen everything unless you do at least 2 playthroughs. That said, I do feel you'd be hard-pressed to get every achievement for the game in that time, knocking it up to 3 to 4 if you're a completionist. On the note of added playthroughs, there is no chapter select for the game, as a lot of the choices from earlier stages are referenced in the future. So, once you beat the game, you can't load or continue, only start a fresh game. This also means that if you forget to do something that's time sensitive, you're shit out of luck, and we'll have to go for another run of the game. This may be infuriating for some, but it doesn't bother me much. It's still worth noting though. The music in this game is astounding. It's ambient, atmospheric, and above all, well composed all around. Along with this, the sound design matches the style of the game in every regard, even down to the cars making a comical sound that can only be described as someone trying to mimic a car engine with their mouth. Mae's third boosted jump also bears an audio cue to accompany it, offering a sense of satisfaction when you happen to actually do it. Feels good, man. In regards to Night in the Woods, the entire game is a charming, beautiful product with great atmosphere, relatable characters, simple yet endearing gameplay, and an astounding soundtrack. There isn't much left to say beyond the fact that if it looks like your type of game, it probably is. If you have an adoration for more narrative-driven experiences, I recommend giving the game a look. If you're more into action-packed experiences though, then you may want to steer clear of Night in the Woods. You know, unless you want to end up like one of those poor schmucks on the Steam review page who voted it down because they were expecting some kind of frickin' party game. Hey everyone, it's been a while. Really sorry about that. I've been trying to reevaluate how I do reviews in the future since my Isaac review, and I feel I finally found a format I could get behind. It's a nice blend of comedy and genuine critique that I feel I can enjoy. Hopefully reviews will come more frequently in the future, but no promises. Oh yeah, and I got another new avatar. This will become a running gag soon enough. I just wanted something more expressive, but I like it. Hopefully you do too. But enough of that, I'll end this here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.